Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova reacted to Britain's plan to deliver 14 Challenger 2 tanks to Ukraine. He emphasized that the armored vehicle was a legitimate target of the Russian attack. Previously, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promised to provide 14 Challenger 2 tanks to Ukraine. This made Britain the first Western country to supply the heavy tanks that Kiev had requested. As we have said before, arms supplies are a legitimate target for Russian strikes, Zakharova said. Meanwhile, the Russian embassy in London warned that sending armored vehicles to Ukraine would only prolong the course of the conflict, which would result in more casualties. Bringing tanks into the conflict zone, far from ending hostilities, will only intensify combat operations, resulting in more casualties, including among the civilian population, the Russian embassy in Britain said, as reported by France 24. Sunak himself said the tanks were a sign of Britain's ambition to intensify its support for Ukraine, according to the release of a phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. According to a statement from the UK PM's Downing Street office, the tanks will arrive in Ukraine in the coming weeks. The statement added that Britain would also start training the Ukrainian armed forces to use tanks and weapons in the coming days. As the Ukrainian people approach their second year living under relentless Russian bombardment, the Prime Minister is dedicated to ensuring Ukraine wins this war, a Downing Street spokesman said. The Prime Minister was clear that a long and static war served only Russian purposes. That's why he and his ministers will be talking to our allies around the world in the coming days and weeks to increase the pressure on Putin and secure a better future for Ukraine. The statement added, Sunak is committed to working with partners to ensure Ukraine is in the strongest possible place to enter future peace negotiations from a position of military, economic and diplomatic power and secure a strong and lasting peace. In addition to sending 14 tanks, the UK will also be sending around 30 AS-90s, large self-propelled guns, operated by 5 gunners. Zelensky thanked Britain on Twitter for making a decision that not only strengthened Ukraine on the battlefield, but sent the right signal to other partners. The heavy tank issue has long been a key one for Kiev, and many experts see providing Ukraine with modern tanks as a critical building block in its ability to win against Russia. Ukraine's European allies have delivered more than 300 modernized Soviet-era tanks to Kiev since Russia invaded in February 2022. But so far they have delayed the delivery of the heavy Western tanks that Ukraine has repeatedly asked to advance against the Russian occupiers. Germany was very hesitant to supply its Leopard 2 heavy tanks. It has delivered strong mobile artillery and air defenses but remains fearful of an escalation with Moscow if its tanks come face-to-face with the Russian enemy. The UK announcement comes ahead of a meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, which coordinates weapons supplies to Kiev, at Ramstein Air Base in Germany, next week.